Hey guys, my name's Steven, and this here is Slithers, my Biak green tree python. Yes, the Biaks, the ones that have the notorious reputation for being the most aggressive green tree pythons. That's more defensive than anything. They're not aggressive. They can be defensive. But this little boy here, he is such an amazing snake. He's been with us for just over a year. When we first got him, he was exactly what people said. He was very nippy. If you stuck your hand in a cage, you were likely to be struck at. What really helped us with this little guy, sadly, is he had mites. We bought him at a store. Now let me give you my background just really quick. I've owned snakes for the past 2 decades. I absolutely love them, and the green tree is no different. He loves to be, rubbed underneath his chin. He is such a great snake. But when he got the mites, he was even more aggravated. It's just, imagine you having lice or your dog's having fleas and there's just scratching. They're a little bit more irritable, and that's how he was. And the only 3 times I've ever been bitten was mostly when it was dealing with the mites, because we were using a different method than what most people use. I use olive oil. Olive oil is a great way to kill mites. It's very inexpensive. It's okay. It doesn't harm the animal in any way, shape, or form, and it does kill the mites. The very first time we used olive oil, we put it on the snake. He didn't know what was going on at the time, and he struck. The second day, same thing, kind of struck, but then he realized, that, we're here to help him. And with that, we have built a special bond. I can do anything. Like right now, he's looking right at me, and I'm not even worried. I'm looking right at him. I can go in there, I can touch his head, I can do anything. Look at this. A lot of green tree python owners can't do this with their snakes. And we're able to because we built a bond, we built a relationship. I can get him in on my hands day or night. Now the only time I'm very careful is during feeding. Now we do have a separate area for where he feeds. I know a lot of people are against that. He does not eat in a bucket, but we have a secondary cage that we put him in for food. So he already knows when he goes into the other cage, it is time to be fed. I really do believe this helps with him being so docile, because he knows when I go into the cage to get him out, it could be for him to come out, for him to play, for him to explore. It could be for feeding, so he doesn't really know, but he's not going to be in that defensive mode of, what's going to happen to me, But this green tree python right here, the notorious Biaks that are known to be vicious, man-eaters basically, he is not. He is so tamed. I can do anything with him. And he's just an amazing snake. Now, a lot of times people ask, I see on the forums, how are green tree pythons versus, your regular ball pythons? I have a ball python. He's a spider. You cannot handle him, okay? I've had the spider ball python for 2 years. You can try to spend time with him. You can do anything. You can, try to handle him. It doesn't matter. Every time he sees you, he is striking, okay? And that's not how this snake is with me, not the green tree. I can do anything with the green tree. I can put it around my neck. He loves to explore. See, I can do anything. See, he's right here. I have no fear. He does whatever he wants to do. And we just built a good foundation. After he had mites, we just really bonded. And I really do think that's why, truly, he is really one of the best handling snakes I've ever owned. Now, like so many people, you know, I feel that a lot of people have this mentality that these green tree pythons, you know, are more difficult to handle, more difficult. And they're really not. If you take your time and you actually read and you kind of give them the right humidity, you give them the right setup, they're going to be easier to deal with than the ball pythons. I think ball pythons are a little bit more difficult because they go off of feeding, they go off their stuff. And, you know, green tree pythons, for the most part, you never have to worry about. They're such an amazing animal. He has never missed a meal. He will eat when he wants to eat. You know, you can tell when he's really ready for dinner, because he starts roaming a lot. He does a lot of roaming. He does whatever he wants to do, and you know, okay, he's hungry. He's looking at you like, hey, feed me. And I feed him about every 10 to 14 days. That's when he gets his meals. You know, but they love to eat. If you would feed them nonstop, he would eat nonstop. But they do have a very slow metabolism that you have to be aware of. You cannot overdo it with these snakes if you want a healthy green tree python. Now, do I recommend these snakes? I absolutely do. I mean, look at this. This animal is absolutely amazing. I know when we had the issue with the mites, we did take him in to get checked out just to make sure everything else was okay as well. And the veterinarian, he is an exotic vet. When he saw how he is with me, he could not believe it. He's just like looking at this snake. My wife is there, and he sees this snake being super docile, and he's just like, I have never seen a green tree python do what he's doing with us. You know, they just never see it. I've had this snake fall asleep in my hands. I've had him, you know, just come up and just, you know, sit on my arm or sit on my neck and just, you know, fall asleep, just being there. He will use you as a tree. So do I recommend these animals? Absolutely. Do I think they're better than ball pythons? Not necessarily. I think it depends on your goals and what you want out of a snake. But do I think they're equally as awesome to handle as a ball python? Absolutely. I have no doubt that anyone that wants to put the time in can't make their green tree python as docile as Slithers. Now, one of the questions that a lot of people ask is, where should I buy one at? You know, normally I am very anti-breeders, you know, because I think a lot of times breeders, they try to make genetics and mix the genetics within the snakes to change the color and patterns. And a lot of times you will get neurological issues, and you can see that with the ball pythons. They have a lot of issues, especially with the spider gene. And there's other genes as well that can actually be a health issue to them, where they actually die because of kinking. But if you're able to find a green tree python with a breeder, I highly recommend you go through a breeder unless you have a lot of experience with snakes. If I could do this all over again, and we could go to the pet store and think about, you know, buying a jungle carpet python versus the green tree python, would I have bought Slithers? I would have bought Slithers 100 times over. He is truly, truly an amazing snake. Guys, thanks for watching this video as always. God bless and take care.